Welcome, 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 everyone, to another episode of the Option Menu Crew podcast. With you, as always, today is your host, Ryan. And then we also have from the crew, Mike.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
And we've also got Ed with us today.
Yeah, I'm excited for today's topic.
Yeah, typical crew. We're continuing our series with some fun topics. We're kind of spreading things out. And today we want to talk about video game merchandise. This is something we've been looking forward to. We spitballed this idea quite a while ago, and it just finally fit into the schedule. So we're going to talk about any type of merchandise related to video games, things we have, things we like, things we want to see more of, things we don't like, if there's any. And I think I've got a few ideas where I'm like, well, I mean, there's stuff I won't buy, but there's stuff that I don't know if there's anything I'd say like they shouldn't make this. But then also anything in between. We were just talking about, we'll talk about like the retail stores and things, or supply chains, yada yada, anything around that. It should be pretty fun though, because we've all bought quite a bit. And you know, one of the things, like Mike, you got quite the amiibo collection. So
Yeah.
you wanna start us off by just kind of saying, you know, where that landed with you for the amiibos. Like when they first announced that, were you planning on collecting, or is that something that just kind of happened after you were like, oh, I'd want to pick up a couple of these?
Well, originally I wasn't like, yeah, I need to get all the amiibo. Like that wasn't really like in the plan. It was just I got Super Smash for Wii U, and then I got the Marth amiibo with it, I believe. So that was like the first amiibo that I got.
Oh, you ended up getting one of the rare ones right off the bat.
Yeah. So I was excited about that. But then, like, they seem to become more rare. And I don't know, it was exciting to, like, be like, oh, yeah, I got the latest amiibo. And then I actually had, like, a friend that was also collecting them. So he was, like, my amiibo dealer. So, like, he would get like double of each one, like, so he had one in the box and one out of the box. So
yeah.
So then he kind of got me into that as well, because I was like, well, I always have this guy to help me get ones that I can't find on my own, because he would always go to like Toys R Us, or he knew the people at GameStop to get them. So I guess maybe at the beginning it was more the thrill of like trying to get all the rare ones, and I had so many.
The hunt.
Yeah, I had so many that I was like, oh yeah, I'll just collect all the Super Smash Bros. Ones. And after the Wii U, I kind of fell off the like I would still get some of the amiibo that I really liked for Super Smash, but I kind of fell off the whole collecting. And there are some that I like missed from the Wii U, like I believe I missed King DDD. That was one that but actually my favorite one was not like a Super Smash Bros. One. I got this gold Mario amiibo.
Okay.
So I left, actually the only one that I actually left in the back. So that's pretty cool.
And for our listeners, so we're on camera right now with each other. We're not recording the video for this. It's not something we're ready to do yet, but yeah, so Mike's showing us his golden Mario in the box, and it is indeed in very good condition. It's not a sloppy collector. Yeah, and I think definitely for me, I wouldn't have really cared about amiibos until it was like, oh, all the Smash characters are getting amiibos, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I had to make a decision myself, because I was either going to be that guy that's like, I must collect all of them, or I'm just going to collect my favorites, and I'm going to be very, very selective. And this started on the Wii U, so some of the figures are based off the versions from the Wii U, and some of the character models changed again when they got to Switch with Smash Ultimate. So like I have the Zelda amiibo from the Wii U, and it's the Twilight Princess style Zelda of Smash, and now there's the new Zelda based off of Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
And
do you mean the Link amiibo? Do you mean the Link amiibo or
No,
Zelda amiibo? Oh,
Zelda.
You literally mean Zelda.
Yeah, because they changed the design.
Okay.
Yeah, the character's Zelda, and then the Twilight Princess design was in Brawl and in Smash Wii U, and then they changed it to A Link Between Worlds Zelda to give her a more unique design and give some more diversity representing from the series. So it's been said on the directs, at least for now, they are not going to do new versions of previous Smash amiibos just because their models were changed. Like Ganondorf is based off of Twilight Princess in Wii U, but they're not changed, and he's back to
Same
Ocarina
thing
of
with
Time.
Link.
Yeah, although they did put out like Breath of the Wild
Amiibo, yeah.
so you can get those if you want that style of Link, but it's like for other characters and stuff like that where they haven't changed.
But the Link one, that one, the one that I have has like the P stand, like the yellow,
right, yep.
And they switched that to like a Claire stand. So I was like, oh shoot, I wish I got the Claire stand, but I don't know, maybe the P stand is more rare.
Well, now it's rare, yeah. So
is it, yeah.
Whether or not it's coveted is different, but scarcity also brings coveted. So yeah, why don't we transition a little bit into that? And it's not the most positive topic up front, but the artificial scarcity. And Nintendo is a company that's very very into that. Other companies are usually a little bit better, but branching out just beyond Nintendo, because they do make merchandise that is just limited run, and a lot of merchandise also ends up becoming very like limited edition, or they create it only for promo events and things like that. So, I was saying before, I think it's fine as long as they're very upfront and transparent about how limited something's going to be. Whereas Nintendo was not very upfront about how limited amiibos were going to be, and eventually they did the reissues, but it was like not that well known. It wasn't obvious and known until people were like out there and being like, "Oh, it's really hard to find Marth, Wii Fit Trainer, and Ness." I think Ness was the third one that was really hard to find. But yeah, it's that. But like, there's the first 4 figures, amazing statues that they do, and they're like, these are extremely limited, they're extremely expensive, and they're super high detail. It's like, okay, I know if I really want one, I should pre-order now and get on that list as soon as possible. But if it's something where I'm like, oh, that looks like a T-shirt, that's kind of neat, but I'm not going to get it right now. But then in a couple months, I'm like, you know what? I'll pick that up. Oh, nope, that was a limited quantity. Like, what? How does it? So,
but
Danny, you guys have any thoughts about that?
They do re-releases too. Like, I'm pretty sure they did reruns of a lot of the amiibo that were hard to find, because I eventually got like Wii Fit Trainer.
They did, which is good, but I'm saying they weren't like transparent and obvious about that up front. We had to wait months. It was nearly like Wii U was almost like fully like closed down before they said like we're reissuing those rare amiibos.
To me, that's annoying.
Do you think that it is that they're trying to make them artificially scarce, or it's just that they are risk averse and don't want a bunch of amiibos sitting on shelves? Because I think now it is getting to the point, but there are amiibos who do sit on shelves for a while. Like, you know, you can go to Best Buy and you can see a lot of different amiibo just there. I don't think they sell as much anymore. I think they're committed to finishing out the Smash series, but that's going to be it for the amiibo as far as I can tell.
I think it's both. I think they want to ride that sweet spot where there's just enough that just about anyone can take it, but that runs out a couple times just to keep that that urge, that impulse buy, like, oh, it's in stock, I should probably just get it right now. So I think they're doing both. It helps them to make sure they're not overproducing, not spending too much money, but also psychologically plays with consumers to make sure that they are constantly trying to purchase and buy out the stock, because then people become less urgent if they notice like, oh, I could get it anytime. So people won't buy it now, they'll buy it later, or they might never buy it because the urgency is never there. So that's my guess.
Yeah, like Mario 3D All-Star, which as of today we have 5 days left to buy it.
Yeah, that's completely silly there. And while the games themselves, I wouldn't say exactly merch, but yeah, that artificial scarcity for the games is just absolutely silly. I believe that they're still going to sell them separately at some point, because also the fact that they didn't do anything regarding like Mario Galaxy 2, I feel like they're planning on just putting those out there at some point.
Well, you know they'll re-release them again. They're not gonna be like, there's no way that they would just like, you know, shelf them forever. They might not re-release it as like a package, but they'll definitely re-release them again.
That's what I believe. And that's what I think, like they're going to sell each of those games probably like either for like 30 or 40 separately. Or I could see them selling for like Mario 64, I could see them selling that for like 20. I could see them selling Mario Sunshine with all its updates for like 30. And then Mario Galaxy 1 for like 40 or 50, and then Mario Galaxy 2 for this like the same price.
Or they could just remake them. Like they could remake Mario 64 and then sell it for full price or something like that.
A lot of people were disappointed that they weren't doing that now. It would be cool if the Super Switch rumors pan out, and that's what they end up doing is they have like a actual Mario 64 remake there. But I don't know. I don't think Nintendo's actually interested in remaking Super Mario 64. I don't think they care to update the polygons and stuff like that. I think they appreciate it as what it is, and they just evolve the Mario formula with each new installment, and everything is just a new version of Mario 64 with new levels. And and that's where nostalgia, you just want the same, you're going to enjoy this, you just want it to be prettier. So yeah. I get that. They could do it. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I feel like Nintendo is just not interested in that. But
how would you feel if it were like a Final Fantasy VII remake style remake of Mario 64, where like it's a completely different genre almost? It doesn't even resemble the original game.
No, Nintendo fans will be pissed.
Like that's basically like Mario Galaxy or Mario Sunshine or even Mario Odyssey. Like that's what that is. It's like this is because that's essentially what Mario 64 is. But if you like actually remade it, I don't even know what that would look like. If you were to take like that as the base game, but then like change, so like maybe
you'd like still go to the same worlds, but you'd like
the stages would be different in some ways. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be like an RPG or something.
That's what they should have done. Is they should do like a Mario Odyssey 2, and they should just put the 64 stages in there. That would be smart. Or even like a new Super Mario 3D World style thing, like Super Mario 3D World 2, and in there is like a Mario 64 world.
Well, but they did do that in Odyssey. They did have the castle.
They had the castle, but I'm saying like all the worlds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like if you go to the castle, you should like jump into the paintings and then go to the other worlds. Like they should have tucked those in the game, or they could even done that as DLC, and people would have bought the crap out of that.
Well, going back to like the amiibo, there were some like that were non-Super Smash that I got that were pretty cool.
Yeah,
I got this like Yarn Yoshi amiibo.
Yarn Yoshi, oh, that was so cute. Did you think about getting the super big one, the one that's bigger?
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was interested, but with the pricing and everything, I just got the small. And they had pink and they had blue, I believe, for Yarn Yoshi.
Yep. You've got the green one. He's showing the green one.
Yeah, I've got the green one. Audience, yeah. And I've also got this Game & Watch amiibo. That's like or not Game & Watch, sorry. Rob amiibo.
Oh, Rob, but that's the Smash one, right?
No, it's not the Smash one. Look at the colors.
Oh, no. That's still the Smash amiibo, but Rob in Japan has different colors than the Rob in America. So you have the Japanese Rob, which is the one that has the red arms, and it's colored like the Famicom. It's still the Smash Bros. Amiibo. I don't think Rob is.
I thought it was like a separate one.
No, because but they did like that what would you call it? Retro 3-pack, which is Rob, Duck Hunt Dog, and Game & Watch, and that was like a Amiibo 3-pack. I thought about getting that because I like Duck Hunt, and those three characters are pretty cool. Like my one buddy played Rob in Game & Watch, and I played Duck Hunt, so I thought about getting those, but he was not very interested in stuff like that, so I never got that. I have bought some Amiibos for friends as well when I knew they like the characters. It's a good, decent gift if you.
Yeah.
Like I got Justin, our Snake, the Snake Amiibo from Smash, because he loves Solid Snake. So I was like, here, bud, you can just have this as a little gift. And he liked that a lot.
I got.
Go on.
Oh, I was gonna say I got my cousin one of the Breath of the Wild amiibos because I knew he really liked that game.
Yeah. Ed, what's where are your thoughts on like artificial scarcity for merch?
It's annoying, but I get it. I have a few amiibo myself. I have the 3 Metroid Smash amiibo. I have Samus, Zero Suit Samus, and Dark Samus. I don't have Ridley, but I'm not that wild about Ridley in Smash. And I actually just last night, and I was telling you guys about this, that the new Byleth amiibo for Smash came out. I think it was just came out yesterday. So I placed an order at Best Buy for curbside pickup. So right after this, I'm going to go pick it up. So I was really doing my homework for this podcast.
I'm a little disappointed that they didn't do the male and female Byleth, and I think same for some of the other characters. They didn't do the male and female version for the amiibos. They really should do that, but whatever.
I guess like at least they would get twice my money if they did that. So they're just missing out.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where it's like, it seems so obvious, just do it, but I guess not. Or even do it as like,
I wonder if nobody would buy the male Byleth. Everyone would just want the female Byleth.
no, there's definitely people that would buy just the male or just the female. But they should just do them like, they should also do like a limited run like 2-pack where they have both of them or something like that. That'd be cool. Especially because like the online stores, and that's the other thing. Like it's fine. I think it's fine if they do like artificial scarcity as long as they're upfront about there being fewer. Maybe not even saying there's a limited number, but having some messaging that says, hey, limited time, limited run, make sure you're getting your orders in here and whatnot. Or even doing like, other retailers are going to have limited stock. We'll have our online store here where we'll have a bunch and we'll refresh every so often, depending on how things go. So I think just some kind of messaging like that, because I get it, certain things. And one of the other things I want to talk about with gaming merch is you see a lot of special merchandise inside special editions of games and collector's editions. So like there's the steelbook cases, sometimes there's premium figures or statues, art books and things like that, and soundtracks even. I guess soundtracks count as merch. So what do you think about collector's editions of games? So what are your guys' habits? We'll start with Ed. Like, how do you feel about video game collector's editions, and what kind of merch has to be in there that draws you into that?
I was thinking about that, and my thoughts on collector's editions, especially like the really big, like $200-$300 ones, is that I'm not a fan. And I generally think that most of the time the stuff they come with is not that great, and they're more to just justify the cost of them, as in, it's kind of like part of that whole trend of the prices of games going up, except they're kind of hiding it behind a bunch of merch that I don't think warrants the whole price. And I'd rather buy merchandise separately and get really what I want. Like I got the Death Stranding collector's edition. Although I got it like way late when it was on sale because nobody bought it. So I got like it was like $200. I got it for like $80. So,
nice.
But I mean the merch I got with it was not that great. I mean I was kind of got caught up in the deal, as in like I am apt to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I have some other merch that I'll talk about later related to Death Stranding. And I like that a lot better because I kind of got to choose something that I know was made for, I got to choose exactly what I wanted. And I generally think if something's sold and designed separately, it has to justify itself on its own merits. And, some of these bundles, there might be one or two things in it that are really cool, but the rest of it is there kind of just to say, hey, you're getting all this money for the stuff for the money you're spending. I just think, I'm not too big of a fan of those giant collector's editions. I do wish some of them come with a steelbook, and that's like the only way to get the steelbook. I would pay like an extra $10 or $15 for a steelbook edition sometimes, just because I like, even if they're just $10 more, I think it's fun to get a steelbook. But usually the steelbooks come with editions that have a lot more stuff, and I don't necessarily want all that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's very weird that they don't just sell steelbooks separately on top of including them with those special editions. But just one last question before we toss to Mike on with the same topic. Ed, can you think of what kind of merch or what it would have to be like for it to justify you to spend like the $250 or $300 that they sometimes ask for? What do you want to see if it's going to be that price? BB like moves and cries, and it's like the actual size of like a BB.
I came with the size of the BB. It didn't really cry, although I don't know if it's full size. It was, but in the end, it
to scale.
I got it. Yeah, I got it, and it seemed kind of dumb. So it's so I kind of I thought it was cool, but then it kind of didn't really live up to what I thought it would be. I mean, I've bought other Death Stranding stuff that I've liked a lot more than that. But as to what it would come with, I guess a soundtrack could be a nice thing. But then again, like I would almost prefer to listen to the game first and then choose if I want to buy the soundtrack. Art books can be good, but I've bought art books that separately that I think are better than anything that comes with it. So
Yeah,
I think anything they could include would probably be better in my book if it were a la carte, just because I think generally it ends up with better quality, and you have the choice of whether or not even if like I would rather spend a little more for an individual item than get a deal on a lot of items and have a few that I wasn't that interested in.
Okay. Mike, same thing to you. Is how do you feel about special editions? What do you like to see in them, and what would you like to see in them?
I don't really, with collector's editions or special editions, I don't really get those. I can't think of any that I've actually picked up. So for me,
That's actually surprising for you, considering how much you like physical.
Yeah. Is there something?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, but you have done like those deals like sometimes at GameStop with like the posters and stuff, because we just recently you were showing off those Mario posters, the Bowser's Fury and stuff like that. So is that?
Oh, those are mine. Those are mine.
Oh, those are Ed's. Okay.
That's a pre-order bonus though. That wasn't a special edition. That was just you happen to pre-order and they give you some.
Oh yeah, I kind of mentally lumped those in together because of the thing. But like, what if they were like packed in? Like, although that's poster wouldn't exactly fit in the box, you wouldn't want that. But
I have gotten some of those pre-orders before. Like I have this really cool like timeline poster from Super Mario Maker. I'm pretty sure that was like an exclusive like giveaway at GameStop.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
When I got the game. But I don't know. I just don't find the collector's editions that intriguing, because I can purchase the figure or whatever. Not that specific figure, but a similar figure I can purchase separately. I don't know. I guess I never really got into spending like an extra $100 on a game.
Okay. Is it just so that I guess answers the other question? Is it just you're not really seeing things inside those collector's edition that make it worthwhile for the extra cost?
Yeah. There isn't really anything that I've been like, oh, I've got to have this.
Is there anything that like came close and you just kind of like last minute been like, nah?
I mean, I've seen some cool designs with like with some of the PlayStation consoles with like Star Wars and stuff like that, like where I would have been like, oh, if I didn't already have one, then I might have wanted to get this. But so I guess that's about as close as. And I'm not saying like in the future, maybe there will be something that's really awesome that I really want to have. But for me, I just haven't found that yet.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, I used to buy the collector's editions a lot more often, and I've become more conservative in that regard of buying them. I liked figures. I especially liked art books, but like Ed was getting at is I came to find that a lot of the art books that they put inside the things they really cheap out on. They're either small, they're a much lower, smaller collection of art, and I meant like physically smaller as well. Like they're not like big full-size paper sheets of paper where you can really look in and dig in. They're like small, almost pocket-sized books. And that just got disappointing. Then they just don't put in a lot of art. It's usually just the renders, and I'm looking for more like concept art. I want to see like that behind the scenes, multiple angles, and all the extra stuff. Not that every book's like that, but more often than not, they're very disappointing in my experience. Soundtracks, it's usually a limited soundtrack. They'll include like maybe a dozen tracks at best, and that also is like, well, I'm getting a dozen tracks, but I don't even know if it's my favorites. So that's almost where it's disappointing. It'd be nice, like why not include the full one? But like Ed was also saying, they sell those separately, and then you buy those, and that's how you get all that. Or nowadays they're putting them on streaming services, or you can go through and you can just buy the songs a la carte, and you can sample them online for different ways and pick and choose what your favorites are, because you might not listen to an entire album from a game. And they'll like full soundtracks will sometimes include like those very little sound effects that are only a couple seconds long. Um, and then, sorry, did you want to say something?
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say I have gotten like anniversary like games that have included like books and stuff like that. Like I know there was like a Kirby anniversary game for the Wii, I think, and it included like an art book or
Mhm.
uh, even Mario Maker. I'm pretty sure that included an art book, but I wasn't paying like extra price for it.
Okay. And then some of the other stuff, like I bought the Dissidia Final Fantasy NT Special Edition, which came with a small art book. Like I said, some kind of the same thing. It was kind of cool though. Some of the character renders and stuff they showed in there were pretty neat. It advertised a figure, a bust of the Warrior of Light, which I thought was going to be bigger than it actually was, and ended up being a lot smaller. Now they did say like a measurement, but I guess I didn't really understand the scale, and it's fine. I put it on a shelf. It's not as big as I thought it would be, but it's fine. Um, but like one of the biggest collector editions I've ever bought was the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Collector's Edition, and you guys might remember hearing about that beforehand. It is an infamous collector's edition for having a deceptive piece of merchandise in it. Um, it, for those who don't know, the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Collector's Edition came with 5 items, 4 statues with bases that could interconnect in different formations of 4 of the characters. It was Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Mega Man X, and Chun-Li, representing 2 from Marvel, 2 from Capcom, and they were kind of like the character boxes there. The statues ended up being pretty decent. They were definitely like a good size. I'd say probably like 10 inches tall for the most part, but they're all in like battle stances, so it's not like super high. The box was huge that I got. The sculpting isn't as great as you'd hope. Iron Man looks great. Mega Man X looks also pretty darn good. And then Captain Marvel, like her suit looks fine, but like her face is and hair is a little cheap. And then for Chun-Li, those who may remember, Chun-Li's original face render was very not flattering. And so they ended up changing the design in game before launch because of the response, but it was too late for the figures for that. But the rest of her like outfit and modeling looks great, and then the base is some pretty flat colors. It looks like one of the stages, but it's pretty neat and colorful. Those are actually pretty cool, and I have them on display, and I'm really happy with them. But the part that was really contentious was the Infinity Stone case. In the promo art, they showed that the Infinity Stones would be inside a box and they would glow and stuff like that. And it wasn't really clear from the picture exactly whether or not the Infinity Stones could come out of the box, and they were also shaped differently in the art. And then when the collector's edition came out, it was just this box, and you open it up, and it just looked like like those cheap Easter eggs that you can like that you buy for Easter, and you put like the candy or money in them and hide them around the house for the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
It looked like that if you chopped it in half sideways instead of like the way they are from like the cups size there, with like LEDs underneath them that you turn a switch on and off for, and there was like very little speckling texture underneath to kind of give the light. It just looked completely different and super chintzy compared to what was in the picture, and people were very upset. I was also pretty disappointed, but the figures made up for it. I thought the statues were more than suitable, so I just kind of have that off to the side. And I think that was like $250 or something like that. It was.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like an expensive collector's set.
Yeah.
To get.
But getting 4 figures, like all 4 of them are like at least like 10 inches tall or something. They might be even a little bit bigger than that, but they're nice big figures. So I was happy with those, and that kind of made up for that. But I was sad because like why even bother? Why take that out, make it $50 less, and not do that, or at least do it the right way. Even if you had to make them like make it a smaller set, do something else like that. So
is that something you still have, or did you set?
Yeah, I've got it set up on my shelves, and I've got the stuff,
cool.
The figures out. So they look really cool, and I saved the box because it's the easiest way for when I moved to put them.
From a distance, does the Infinity Stone look good, or is it just no?
Nope. Looks pretty disappointing even from any distance.
Wait, yeah. I forget, what did that stone do? That was the one that.
There's 6 Infinity Stones.
Oh, Oh, it came with all 6?
It was just a
Or-
box that had 6 lights inside it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, that's all it was. It's someday you guys will see it. It's not that impressive, but it's yeah. So from there, oh, the other big collector's edition, which I was actually pretty happy with that I bought, was the Borderlands 2 collector's edition, where you got the loot box, or it was the super, because they might have done a smaller one, but you get like a replica loot box that like opens up of the red chest, and inside it was the game, a steel book. It gave me like a cool stretch out comparison of like all the enemy models. It's pretty small. It's like the size of what Mike, what you were showing for the Super Mario Maker anniversary poster thing. It's like that kind of length, and then it's just
Cool.
all the enemies, ranging from like small to big. A bunch of
Nice.
different of like the in-game promotional, almost like propaganda style art, which was pretty cool. And then there was trading cards which actually had codes on them for redeeming for special legendary weapons, and you could it wasn't like locked to a copy of the game or anything. So like me and my cousins and uncles and stuff that were playing the games, we each bought like a set of box, and we like traded around the cards for like, okay, do you like this type of gun or like this? Here, you can have this card, you can redeem it for your game, and we kind of like traded codes and stuff like that, so we could all get them. So that was pretty cool. Oh, there was like a little bobblehead, a custom bobblehead that's actually from a piece of merch inside the game. The what's his name? The Marcus bobblehead. That was pretty cool. Was there anything else? I'm not, but yeah, I still have the red chest, and I still like put things in it because it's a chest. It's got a hinge. It's got a little pop
Were
lock.
they were trading cards or trading codes? Or
They were
codes
they were like cards with pictures of the gun on them, and then a little like blurb, and then the code on it as well.
that you could get the item in game.
Yep. Yeah, you could enter in the shift code. Yeah, they had shift codes back then, so that's how you would redeem it.
A big thing when
Go ahead.
a big thing when I was younger was the Pokemon cards. That was a big video game merchandise that I had, I guess.
I guess that is in like a weird space because there are video games that now get those trading card games. Final Fantasy has it. Several other series have it. So, but that makes perfect sense because then they make games out of that. Like I had Mike, we weren't working together before, but I had gotten as a gift one of the years the Mario chess set. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've seen it online. I haven't ever seen it in person.
So yeah, for people who haven't seen it, it's a chess set, but all the pieces are Mario themed. So like from on the Mario side, you have Mario and Peach and Luigi and Yoshi and Toad as like the king, queen, rook, etc. And then the coins are the pawns.
Oh, cool.
And then on the Bowser side, you've got Bowser, Bowser Jr., Magic Koopa, Goombas, and Troopas. And I think the Goombas are the pawns, and then they have like Koopa Troopas and stuff for the other stuff. So that was really cool, and I took like one of each out of the thing, and I just had them as desk decorations. I didn't even use it to play the game.
Oh, nice.
Because the pieces were really good quality, and they were like hard plastic. Well, not hard plastic, but they were like this like weird soft plastic. They looked really nice. It was really cool. So I used those as like figures. I just recently bought. Go on.
I was gonna say I would get so confused, like trying to play that game. I would be like, wait, what is this character supposed to be again?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even worry about it. I recently bought Sonic Monopoly, which is really cool, and it actually is almost like a different board game because it uses the Monopoly template, but it's only meant for 4 players, and it actually has like different rules and like a real end game because there's boss fights and you like fight Eggman, and eventually, and the game's over in like 8 rounds. It is built more like a Sonic board game than it is like a Monopoly game. Like there's property and all that stuff. You still go around the square, but it's got all these additional rules on top of it that actually bring it to like a logical conclusion. So it's really cool. Those figures are pretty neat. I recently bought a Kingdom Hearts board game just the other day. So I got that, and that I hope to play with some people. So I do like that when they do some like video game themed stuff.
Did you see they canceled the Metal Gear Solid board game?
Did they? Oh.
Yeah, got canceled.
There's a Bloodborne board game that I think this recently came out as well, or is getting close to release. So that's always cool. I do think like board game versions of video games can be neat. I have different feelings about board games because I guess it's like anything else. It's hit or miss, but I don't hate that overall, especially when they do come with like cool figures of that, having those little physical collectibles, even if you don't like the game. It's nice to be
I
able
think
to
the
like.
problem with board games is you not only have to have people who are into board games, which not everyone is.
Yeah.
You have to find people who are like into that particular game property. Like I think it really, some people are open minded enough that they'll play anything, but
Yeah.
I think it's hard to find a group of 3, 4, or more people who are really interested in psyched to play a particular board game.
I don't know about that necessarily because I played with my sisters and cousins. We always used to play like Mario Monopoly.
But that's Monopoly. That's essentially Monopoly.
They know what the game is, and then it's just themed differently. So it's the same. Like they know they like.
Oh, you're saying like a specific game,
a Kingdom Hearts board game. I would play a Kingdom Hearts board game.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but when it's like multiple players and stuff like that, it's a different dynamic. So some people, I think it encourages more open-mindedness, and board games are about like the social interaction. So right now, obviously, with Corona still kind of going there, I'm more planning for the future with the board games. But that's, but yeah, I think some of that's really cool. And then I guess we'll move on to some of the other types.
I had another thought on special edition. Was there any special edition that you like were mad you missed out on? Because I kind of wanted,
good question.
Maybe not mad, but I kind of wish I had gotten the Fire Emblem Three Houses special edition because it's like everything Fire Emblem, it's really expensive now, and I didn't really know I was going to like the game as much as I did, but had I known it, I would have. I think it was only like $80 or $90 versus like the $60. It wasn't that much more, maybe. So I think it would have been worth the extra money. I don't think it. I think it was maybe 100. Like it wasn't that much more. Like it wasn't like an outrageous priced one like some of them. I think I would have been happy to have it because it had an art book, it had a soundtrack, it had a steel book, and they look like pretty good stuff. But I missed out on that. I mean, I could. That's the thing about all these. Like, if you really want to spend the money, you've never truly missed out because almost nothing goes like completely unavailable. Like it'll always pop up on eBay eventually. I mean, so
yeah, I've seen some.
I wish I had gotten it.
It's funny. I do enjoy when I was going to GameStop physically, and sometimes you'd see the leftover special editions. Like I saw Dark Souls either 2 or 3, and they had some a really nice big figure special edition, and you'd see those things going for like 50, $40 because they just want to move it. And so it's like, oh, that would actually be really cool if I was a fan. That's super cool, but it's hard to tell when that's going to be the scenario for a thing. Nothing's really coming to mind specifically, but there are two things that I really was interested in and I just kind of passed on. I don't really feel bad, but I guess I would have liked to just have them. Was the Breath of the Wild Switch Special Edition that came with like the Master Sword standee little thing there, and also the UK only Special Edition for the Link's Awakening remake that had the special steelbook that was shaped like a Game Boy. That I thought was really cool. I actually would have. Awesome. I considered strongly like importing that because that looked really dope and that just spoke to my nostalgia. But ultimately, it's
what was shaped like a Game Boy?
The steelbook case for the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a picture, and I'll put it in our group chat. But yeah, those are like the only two that really stick out in my head right now. Otherwise, kind of the same things you guys said. Like I can buy the soundtrack separately, or I can get it online somehow if they don't put it out. The figures I either don't like or don't care about, or I can get better figures and different. And that's kind of what's happened. Is I've bought better, more preferable merch separately that wasn't part of special editions. Posters and other things like that. I just recently got to a situation where I'm more interested in stuff like that. But you can still also find better, either official or unofficial versions of game art in good ways or hangable formats. So no, I'm not too worried about that. I try not to pre-order too much, but and especially since I do more digital. Oh, that is a point I wanted to bring up. Would you guys don't really do digital too much, but I personally with digital, I would love to see, and there's not too many of these, but I'd love to see like versions where I could get special editions with all the tchotchkes and merch and get a digital code instead of the physical, because I don't really need the steelbook, but even if I did get the steelbook, like I guess I could throw it on a shelf if it looked really cool. But what do you think about that? Would you prefer if maybe they actually sold like a merch bundle to the side without the copy of the game in it for cheaper?
I mean, why not just sell it separately at that point?
That's what I'm kind of saying.
You mean like all the stuff in a special edition without a game or
Yes.
a game code, not even a game code.
A couple things have done that, yeah, but it'd be like this merch bundle, and I think Ubisoft did that for like 1 or 2 games. I forget which ones, but
I think it will be like inevitable in the future. Like, I don't really like. I'd rather get the steelbook and the disc, but I mean, I don't really get those collections.
That's GameStop's only hope. Pretty soon they're just going to be selling merch bundles. They won't sell any games.
Probably.
trying to find that.
One thing, this is also special edition related. Not while you're thinking is, does anyone have any special edition consoles? Because I like my I have
Good question.
the Metroid Samus Returns 3DS XL, new 3DS XL, and I really like that. I don't think and I guess like controllers count the same because because Joy-Cons are kind of like the special edition consoles for Switch, but that's really.
Oh, I said they have some special edition Switch consoles.
That's true.
They do.
But if they didn't have Joy-Cons, they'd probably sell a lot more special edition Switch consoles if like your only option was to get, but they haven't made any special edition Switch Lites, have they? No, I don't think they have. Oh no, they made the Pokemon one.
Yeah. Special edition consoles. What did I? Oh, I wanted the green, the Halo 3 green Xbox 360. Never ended up getting that because I ended up buying. I had the Elite, and then I had the Wi-Fi edition that came out later. So I kind of made do with that because I wouldn't have been able to hold on to that. Controllers, as I've mentioned before, I buy a bunch of those, and we're going to do an episode just talking about controllers later on. So I'll skip that for now. But that's cool. I like good designs. I'm usually looking for a specific color or whatnot. I pre-ordered the Legend of Zelda Special Edition Joy-Cons that are coming out in time for Skyward Sword HD. So looking forward to that in the future. I really wanted the Spider-Man PS4 Pro. That looked so cool. Now, the red isn't necessarily my favorite color, but it did look really dope.
I was really tempted to get the Death Stranding PS4 Pro one, the white one with the BT handprints and the BB controller, and even the little touchpad and the controller had the Death Stranding logo on it with like the strands. Yeah, it was everything. All the Death Stranding merchandise has been really cool. It's just a game with a cool aesthetic in my opinion that lends itself to that kind of stuff. I have a Death Stranding coffee mug that I love that I've told you about this.
Yeah, you've shown us. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so I like the merch from that game, as I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the PS4, The Last of Us 2 PS4 Pro that had like Ellie's tattoo or something decaled on it. That looked really cool as well.
I think the Spider-Man one, like you said, looked really cool.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, I'm surprised, Mike, you didn't bring this up, but maybe it'll jog your memory. The Star Wars Special Edition Xbox 360 that looked like R2-D2 and had the C-3PO controller. And when you turned it on, it had the R2-D2 noise as the startup noise.
I vaguely remember that one. That was pretty.
I wanted that really bad. I didn't like the C-3PO controller because I'm not a big fan of like gold, but it was super cool looking. And
I think there was like a Darth Vader one that looked really awesome to me.
That would be pretty good.
Or maybe I'm just imagining it, but I thought there was.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm trying to think. There's probably been a couple.
I guess I would say for ones that I have the interchangeable 3DS, the new 3DS, but it's not like it wasn't XL and it wasn't.
Oh yeah.
You could switch out the
face plates.
Yeah,
those were the new 3DSs. That was such a cool idea. I can't believe they didn't bring that back for other stuff.
Yeah, so I had like the KK slider and the Mario, I think, as one of the faceplates, and then another one that just had like every Nintendo character ever on it. So yeah. I don't know if that counts, but That's
I think it
fine.
counts.
I think it's
Absolutely.
fine. Yeah. And then actually I do own one of the third-party Pro controllers for Switch. It's a PowerA controller, and it actually does have a swappable faceplate for Mario and Luigi. I keep the Luigi on because it's green, but I do think that's cool. I like the when they have those like customizable aspects to like the merch where you can get extra accessories to change the design. So
Yeah,
that
I'm
is pretty cool.
surprised it did so poorly. Maybe it was just because of the timing of it.
Mhm.
Like if that was like the first one or something, the first 3DS, maybe it would have sold better. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, from the start, it seems like such a good idea. Like you can sell all these extra accessories, and
Yeah.
people buy that kind of stuff. So being able to
But
do
that-
that, not having to require them buy extra hardware, and like that's cheaper to make is just the headset, the plastic pieces.
The options are so
I like that about the Switch that they have special. I wish they did more special edition Joy-Cons because like it's a lot less of a pain to buy like a set of Joy-Cons and a whole new console, and then you have to transfer your games because you don't have to, but like certain saves can only be on one. This cloud save kind of works
Yeah.
okay. Like it's not set up. The system isn't set up that well for you to have multiple consoles.
Yeah.
Especially because if you have digital games, you have to authorize one of them as the primary console. So, like, having new Joy-Cons to me is a much better way of having a custom piece of hardware than a completely separate Switch console. I prefer that method.
And Nintendo's not incentivized to do like to let people share games like that. They want people buying extra copies. So that's one of those things where between user convenience and industry, they could let people be more convenient, but they really don't have an incentive for that. Moving on to the like other fun stuff, because like you mentioned your coffee mug, Ed. So we were just talking before as we were getting set up. I have my my PlayStation pillows that I have each of the buttons on them, the sacred symbols on them. I've got my some other throw pillows with cases of different video games. One's Kingdom Hearts, one's Blaze Blue. What else did I have that was video games? Oh, I've got the and I mean there's ThinkGeek, which has all that tons of stuff, and now you can find tons of video game elsewhere. I've got the Tetris touch lights. I guess they're not necessarily touch lights, but they're shaped like the Tetris blocks, and you can rearrange them in different ways, and only one of the blocks needs to be plugged in, and then they have like contact transmit electricity or whatever, so you can arrange them, and as long as they're touching correctly, they all light up, and you can move it around. So that's really cool. As I was joking with you guys before when I first moved in, I was saying like, get me fridge magnets as housewarming gifts. And I have the Mario set. They look like the NES Mario stages, and you can make little Mario stages with the magnets and stuff. So I do like the fridge magnets; those are pretty neat. I've got some keychain. Oh, I've got ornaments that are of the NES controller, the Sega Genesis controller, the Atari joystick, and the PlayStation 1 controller, non-analog stick. So those kind of little tchotchkes I really enjoy having. And I do have a Kingdom Hearts coffee mug. I don't really drink coffee and I don't really use the mug, but I do have it as like a display piece now. So yeah, what other kind of like video game like decoration pieces or like things around there? You guys were already talking about some stuff, so I'll throw that back over to Mike. What kind of other stuff you got around the house?
Okay, so I don't have like a ton of stuff, but a lot of the stuff that I did get was actually from like Club Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the like I have this this Mario hat was from Club
Nice.
Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the like pins, the pin set. It was like this huge Club Nintendo. It was one of their bigger gifts, but it was like I don't know why. I guess it was like that, or the other option was like a lower tier option. And yeah, so I got the pin set, but there was actually a cool one that had like a statue the year before. I don't know if you remember that one. There was like a Mario statue with like, it had like Mario and all his friends. And then I had the one year I got like a calendar from it. It was like one of those ones where you take out the cards and you switch them. That was pretty cool. It had like, designs for all the different Nintendo games. And Ed got me these coasters, these really sweet Nintendo
I was going to
coasters.
talk about my coaster.
Well, you both have them, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can use that as the segue into Ed.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, finish up.
Oh, so they all have like different controllers on them.
They're
And,
mostly Nintendo, right? They're not a
Describe them, though.
non-Nintendo.
They're round wooden coasters, and they have like a controller of various Nintendo systems burned into them, and then they're covered in like an epoxy lacquer with a cork bottom. So they're nice, and you know. What do you have? It's like we have a Virtual Boy, N64, 3DS, Game Boy, Switch, Wii U, Wii. I mean, it's got everything, and it's got one from like each generation. They're really cool. I love them. I don't know where I found them, but I mean, I found them on Etsy. I don't know how I found them, but I just happened to find them, and I had to have them for my. I bought them when I moved into this apartment. They're and I bought them for another friend when he moved into his house. So it's my standard go-to housewarming gift, even for myself.
That's awesome.
Thank you, yeah.
And just while we're talking about coasters, because I was mentioning, I have a set of Mega Man 2 coasters. They're really nice. Unfortunately, they're not protected like that, so I just use them as display pieces. And they came in like a nice little E-Tank tin that's reusable and reopenable. And it's just the squares from the boss select screen plus Mega Man's face and the Dr. Wily symbol. So it's got all 8 Robot Masters from Mega Man 2 plus those 2. Really cool. I got that just laying out there. Really like those. I do like those kind of things that are kind of more display pieces. I'm putting on a Christmas list this year because I've got my house so I can decorate. Is a bunch of stuff from Displate. They're basically posters, but they're all printed on like sheet metal. So they're really nice.
I think I saw those like on a Facebook ad or something.
Yep. I love them.
Yeah.
I think they're really cool. I actually purchased one for my cousin as like a gift. I saw art for a character he loves from Dark Souls. I think it's Artorias is the name. And it looked good. I thought the color scheme was good. I wasn't sure but I bought it. I bought it decent size. And when it came in, he absolutely loved it. I thought it was really good, really high quality. Like it was not. The pictures really do kind of do justice to what the actual product is. So I'm making a huge list of both like video game themed art and some like general stuff that I can hang up like behind me for like video conference calls at work, just to decorate the house on. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to getting those kind of things and having like a set that I can like rotate around. Plus I do like art posters.
Giant poster of like Waluigi behind you or something.
Yes, totally. It'll intimidate my clients.
Mark would want that. I think. I don't know.
We should just buy him a bunch of Waluigi merch. I bought him the Wario hat. That's it's a baseball cap. Yeah, the Waluigi hat.
Yeah, that's cool. That's like my Mario hat. But yeah, I also like
couldn't find him the Tanuki onesie. That was my dream. Like I was hoping I could get him a Tanuki onesie. And
would he actually wear that?
I think he would have worn it once. Just for us, and then it would have secretly been stashed away / in the trash can.
Yeah, it was weird. Like some of your merchandise from your desk like ended up on my desk. Yeah.
Yep. I left that. Yeah, I left that to one of our friends who was still working there, and then that must have just been passed down to fellow Nintendo fans. So good on them. As long as it's getting appreciation there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I did collect a bunch of figures over time, but that's not my favorite type of merch. So I guess we'll segue into that. Our favorite types of merch, and yeah, we've said a whole bunch of things, but the stuff that you really seek out. And for me, I love replicas of the weapons and items from games, and especially to scale. My favorite thing to collect is the Keyblades. Well, I shouldn't say my favorite, because I only really collect the Kingdom Key. I like that. I bought the $250 electronic, somewhat of a replica. It's a little bigger than it's supposed to be, but it's fine. Of the Kingdom Key that makes noises from the game and lights up for different spells and has sound effects and stuff like that.
That sounds amazing.
It's super cool. Also, then they did a more like cosplay focused set of Keyblades that were like part foam. And those are a little more in line with the scale, so I bought one of those for the Kingdom Key. And actually, I did have someone help me make a wooden version of the Keyblade before any of this merch was available. And it's still pretty well done, but there's some things I wish I could have touched up on it, but that's neither here nor there. I now have 2 official Keyblades, which are pretty dope. I have the cosplay foam Master Sword like near scale replica that was recently available. Oh, it's a couple years ago. I almost want to get another one because I feel like I get a better paint job on on some of that, but it's the right size for me as an adult, and it's fine. Not that I'm swinging around, but every once in a while I'll pick it up and feel like a hero. And then there was the Hylian Shield backpack. So I've got my Master Sword and Hylian Shield because I just love the two designs of those things. It's always spoke to me since Ocarina of Time. And so while the backpack is a backpack, it's actually nearly like a one-to-one replica with a hard shell. The way Mike's got the hat on right now.
Yeah, he's wearing his Mario hat backwards.
Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks pretty weird. It actually looks like he's kind of wearing a wig or something, because the way it's shaped. But yeah, so the Hylian Shield backpack is, and both of these items you could get at ThinkGeek and probably some other retailers at this point. It's this very nice hard shell backpack, and it's almost to scale of probably what the shield would be. And I love it, and it does have like a slot so you can put the sword in the back, so you could carry it around if you wanted to. So I have those hanging in the basement, and those are pretty cool. I'm trying to think, but those. Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, if someone like broke in, would you like rush your Hyrulean sword and
No,
shield
I
it?
have actual weapons that I
okay.
would defend myself with if someone broke in. But that would be funny. I could use the shield as like a blunt weapon for a little bit because that is actually like hard plastic, but it would not provide me protection against like a gun or something.
Man,
But it could protect me from probably being stabbed.
Going to a dark place, Mike.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, I like those kind of things. My cousin bought me as a gift the replica of the Mass Effect. They have like a laser blade that they have on the hands for some melee attacks, and that's kind of neat. I have that and it comes with a little standee, so that just gets to sit there. But that's the kind of stuff I really like, and I always find it neat when they do those replica weapons, especially more to scale. I think Nerf guns, and I was talking about Borderlands, so like Nerf guns, Borderlands, I'm surprised they didn't do more of those. I did see like Overwatch has a couple of Nerf replica guns, and that makes sense. Blizzard's huge, so they could probably make those kind of deals. But that's the kind of stuff I really appreciate, is those kind of things. And I don't love tons of them, but whenever they do it, it puts a smile on my face, and I'm always tempted to get those things. It's so cool to bring a little bit of that video game into real life, you know? It's a little bit of fantasy and reality. So that's what really tickles my fancy when it comes to video game merch. What about you guys?
I actually do like figures like Amiibo and other ones because I like ones that are relatively small. I don't think I would want a bunch of giant Kingdom Keys around like you. And it's more of a space thing for me. Like I live in a 1-bedroom apartment right now, so I don't necessarily want to take up space with that kind of stuff. And some of that stuff, like I don't necessarily have a good place to display it. I suppose I could like hang Kingdom Keys on the wall. I don't know if that's what you do. I mean, that seems like something that would look good if you hung it on a wall.
The one actually comes with with display stand stuff that I could set up. The other one I do just have hanging from a hook in the basement right now, just because I don't have a good place to display it. I got to work that out.
Yeah, but for me, I like things that are smaller. I actually like I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's like the Figma line of figures.
Yes.
They're these little small articulated figures. They're typically about 5 to 7 inches tall, depending on the scale of the character. I have one of Samus and Zero Suit Samus, and they're like appropriately to scale. Like the Metroid Prime Samus is taller than the Zero Suit Samus, so they do a good job. They're pretty detailed. I like that they come with little accessories. You can kind of like pose them however you want. So those are fun. There's an upcoming one of Sam Porter Bridges from Death Stranding. Like I can talk a lot. I like the stuff in that game. I think it's a really cool aesthetic. So that one looks really cool. I pre-ordered that. It comes out I think November, so I'm excited for that. But that's gonna be a while until I get it. But I think the thing that I have that probably I got the most enjoyment out of, just if you count, time, like the figures are nice. But realistically, part of the most fun about getting a figure is opening it up on your shelf, and then like how much do you really look at it on a day-to-day basis? Like I like getting it, I like having it, but I bought the Lego Nintendo Entertainment System,
Mhm.
and that was just a joy to build. Like I like
Mhm.
Lego. I have a lot of Lego sets. And that one probably took me, I don't know, 4 or 6 or more hours to build. Maybe 8 hours across 2 different sessions of building. And
That's one.
It's got some playability to it. I think there's a little crank that turns the scene of the Mario level. But that one, like, you know, in terms of time, you know, it took me about as much time as like a video game, and you know, you can't really say that much about other things in terms of, you know, how much bang for your buck you get on a time level. So that's kind of why I'd rank that as the most fun, because it was actually fun to play with in a way for a long time.
That's
Yeah.
one that I'm interested in getting eventually as well. I keep putting it off, but maybe eventually I'll get it.
You put it off too long, they'll retire it, and you'll never be able to get it.
I know. I better hurry up. I need. Yeah.
Talk about like FOMO and trying to find hard. You know, these new Lego sets, like eventually they're pretty get within like the few, they sell out really quickly everywhere. You know, it just, you know, especially now with everyone at home wanting stuff to do, and you know, some people having extra money to spend. Where, you know, it's Lego is a hot item.
Yeah, and yeah, I knew we were eventually going to get to Legos because some of that stuff is really cool. But I did want to touch on the Figma figures because I do have the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword Link Figma, which I
Oh
thought was
yeah,
really cool. I always wanted like a really good Link figure. I had one of the cheap old sets of from Ocarina of Time, Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. I believe I've lost those at this point, but they weren't very articulated. So I got the Link one. I think I got it for like $70 or something. But then also, I'm a big fan of Mega Man X, and there's certain characters that I'm really fond of that I've always wanted like 3D models of. So Link was one of them, especially with like the Master Sword and Hylian Shield. And then Mega Man X is another character that I'm just super fond of his design. So I have actually the most amount of Mega Man X figures with that. Way back when, I managed to convince my mom to buy off of eBay one of the old Japanese model kits. I didn't know it was a model kit, but it was the Mega Man X3 armored version of X, and it was all the plastic pieces. Then you had to put stickers on, and a lot of the stickers have fallen off at this point, but it still holds up. And then I bought a new. They had like a special design of Mega Man X. It's like super futuristic and like a redesign of what he looks like, and it's actually made of like die-cast metal and stuff like that. It's really good. It was just a figure, and it's super good. And I have that articulated, and it comes with a couple different pieces. And then I bought another version of the Mega Man X3 armor, a more newer model kit. I also didn't think it was a model kit. I was hoping it was just a figure. And when it arrived, I was like, oh no. But I put it together. Looks great. I posed it, and I'm just like, I'm never retouching this thing. There's still they did it weird where there's some pieces that are like super small that should I don't think should have been separate, but whatever. Like I said, I put it together. Um, Ed, I will say I've hesitated a few times because from Smash Brothers I've gotten a lot more fond of Samus and Zero Suit Samus, and a few of those Figmas I thought of buying, but I never pulled the trigger because they had the nice other M versions of Samus and Zero Suit, and I was just like, oh, those are so cool.
I don't have the other M version of Samus. I have the Metroid Prime 3 version of Samus.
Gotcha. That's cool.
But
That's
they are cool. I'm so excited about the Death Stranding one. I when I get it, I'm gonna have to like show you guys some pictures of it, because like it has. I got the DX version, which is
You canceled it.
No, I kept waffling back and forth, but I stuck with it. So it's got like packages that can go on his back. You can attach packages to his shoulders. It comes with a floating carrier that you can also put the packages on. It has like various hoods that you can attach. It's got armor plates that you can attach to his shoulders. It's, you know, of course it has the BB and the scanner. It's got everything. So it's going to be really cool.
You should get the Sam Bridges Android. Get the nice little cute chibi.
My friend has that, but I'm not a fan of rides. I don't like the chibi look.
Oh, okay. So let's do a quick sidebar on this one. Where do we all stand on Funkos? Funko Pops. Mike, you go first.
I don't have any. The same amiibo dealer, I think, used to get those for his girlfriend. Like, I don't know, they had a ton of them.
Oh, that's
so
hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're cool. I just don't. It's just not something I ever collected.
Okay. Ed, where do you stand on Funko Pops?
Not really a fan. I don't like the. I mean, they have some cool ones, but especially because there's so many of them. Like they've made them for everything that it kind of loses a little bit of appeal when you can get, you can get like a Ronald McDonald Funko Pop. Like I don't think you can. I'm just making that up, but like
I don't know.
I'll bet there's a Burger King
I'm gonna
Funko
Google
Pop. Yeah, there's a fast food mascot line. No, I'm just making that up, but I'd believe it if they said that. It's just they make them for everything now, and now
It exists.
does it really?
It exists.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like they're so commodified that oh my, that looks like a Pennywise.
blown out.
It almost looks like Pennywise.
Yeah.
It's a frightening looking
And
Ronald.
then I'm pretty sure they have the Burger King.
Oh, they have
I'll
one
just
with
double check.
sunglasses. Too. Oh, they have the complete set. You can get all the characters.
All
Yep.
the fast food characters,
And
Oh,
you
the
can get the King, the
Yeah.
Burger King as well.
But see,
as
that's
Funko.
what I'm talking about. Like they've gone. There's no level of like discrimination with what characters they find worthy of being a Funko Pop.
They
I
don't
bet
have like a Nintendo line though, do they?
Pretty soon they're going to start making like politician Funko Pop form, which a
I
lot
think
of
they have
people.
for a couple.
Well, a lot of people like. That's what I'm saying. I come up with some, and it just happens to be true.
There's no Nintendo Funko Pop, is there?
I don't think so.
There's Pokemon Funko Pops. That might be about it.
Yeah.
Let me see.
But I don't really like the chibi look of them. Well, they're not really chibi, like their own thing. But I'm not loud about them.
So
I mean,
I think there's concepts, but no, I think Pokemon's the only one with official Mario.
I wouldn't complain.
Or
if
semi
somebody got me
Nintendo
one.
Funko.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like.
Yeah, if someone bought me one, I'd probably display it. But
Yeah.
like,
I appreciate that that Funko is sometimes the only place you can get merchandise for something, for some properties. I think it's nice because sometimes there's a property is not like not necessarily unpopular, but it's not something that was planned to be merchandised. So that's kind of neat. Like Witcher 3, like Witcher doesn't have a ton of merchandise. It has more merchandise now, but like before, you really couldn't get certain characters or certain figures unless it was a Funko Pop. I really don't think most of the characters look good as Funko Pops. There are a few characters that I think look really cool because it makes a lot more sense. I was given a gift of a Baymax superhero armor Funko Pop, and because it's Baymax and his eyes are already those big black dots, it looks perfect. It looks great. I love it. It just makes sense for that character. So I'm glad I have that. I've been given a few Funko gifts. Like I've got a I don't know if it's limited, but it was a statue. It's a statue version of Stan Lee, which he's Stan Lee, R.I.P. So that's pretty cool. And then some other like Spider-Man Far From Home ones. So that it's neat, and I appreciate if I'm giving them and I just have them displayed somewhere. But I don't go out of my way to grab Funkos. Nendroids, there's been a couple because I do think they're a lot better quality, and I think because of their higher detail, they're a little cuter. There's a couple of them, but I haven't pulled the trigger on any of them because once again, I'm just kind of very picky about those. But I would be more inclined to buy an Nendroid over a Funko Pop.
yeah, I did see the Death Stand. My friend bought one. He actually still has it in the package. I haven't been able to convince him to take it out and play it. Which, like, I guess if you're a collector, but he's not a collector. He's never going to sell this stuff. Why not enjoy it? But he
might enjoy it just being in the box, and that's the thing where like who are we to
I
judge?
told him about the Figma, and he pre-ordered that too. So maybe I'm going to have to be the one to play with it, and he's going to want to be the one to keep it in the package. But
another figure I bought that I was really happy with was Lightning from Final Fantasy 13, her default look. And then they did some new versions of the figures for the Dissidia line, which are like better proportioned and a little cheaper. But the Square Enix figures and stuff like that, I forget exactly the figure arts line and stuff like that, and Play Arts and Play Arts Kai.
I have a Bring Arts version of 2B from Nier Automata.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like the same scale as the Figma, but they're not as nice as the Figma. I probably wouldn't buy another one. I don't think they're as well made, and the stand isn't as good. I don't think it's as high quality, and I wasn't as happy with it.
I bought a couple of those as a gift for my cousin who's big into Nier Automata, Nier in general. So yeah. I do think those are pretty cool, and they've been so expensive. That's one of those things where I have to justify, well, do I really want to have the figure, or do I just want to play them as the character in the game? And I've settled more for the character in the game. Oh, and considering how much I love Kingdom Hearts, there was a couple Kingdom Hearts figures that I almost bought, like a couple of those. Like I wanted a good Aqua one. That exists. I think there's a Figma one and there's a Play Arts Kai one. I might be wrong. Maybe I'm just confused because the Play Arts is
I don't think Square Enix licensed their stuff to Figma. I don't think there are any Square Enix.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think I'm just confusing because they, like you said, they're similar in terms of build and quality.
The one thing I didn't like about it is the stand. Like the Figma have the plastic stands that kind of slot into a hole that holds them up well. This one had like a clip to go around her waist, and it just doesn't work as well. I don't know why they would go with that design. I guess it's probably cheaper to manufacture. They can just use the same stand for everything, but
yeah, you can use it with different figures. It's a little more ubiquitous. The Lightning figure I have has that kind of stand, and for certain poses that was useful, but I don't use it anymore. I just have her like sitting freeform. The Kingdom Hearts, I wanted a Final Form Sora figure. There's a couple that were pretty neat, but I just never pulled the trigger on that. I'm happy with the Keyblades. And then the one other thing that I've always wanted to get but never had the gumption to pull the trigger on is that there is a series of airsoft guns in Japan for Resident Evil that are replicas of the Resident Evil guns. And I just think Resident Evil, and this is a weird thing to admit, but it's true. Like Resident Evil is a game that's actually made me like fascinated with the art of a firearm because of like the replicas and stuff. I don't know. Just Resident Evil is the kind of game that makes you feel cool shooting zombies. I guess is how
how do you not feel cool shooting zombies? I mean,
I know, right?
I guess if you're like, what is it, like Jesse Eisenberg and is that who's in Zombieland?
Yes. Yep.
That's how you not be cool with shooting zombies.
Yeah.
coming up with all your rules of how to shoot zombies.
Yeah. So those guns, they have that airsoft thing, and they're really good replicas. And I don't even know how easy it'd be to import them at this point. But they're always super expensive. They're usually hard to find. There's the handguns plus the Magnum. I would have loved to gotten a couple of those, but that's something just maybe someday in the future I'll be able to get those. But for now, I think those are really cool. I can't get them, and definitely that doesn't fly in America because they'd want them like orange capped and stuff like that. Now, I would never. They're airsoft, but I wouldn't really use them other than display pieces and stuff like that. So that was some other merch that is really cool that I would like to have, but haven't gotten. So yeah, we're getting close to the end of the episode here. So I guess the last point is there any what kind of merch would you be wanting to see? I've kind of already gone over. So what do you guys like? Is there anything you guys absolutely don't like? You don't like seeing them make that?
Not really. I
can't think of it. Like I'm the kind of person who like if they make something that's not for me, I'm just happy to let it exist and have other people enjoy it who like that kind of thing. I'm a live and let be kind of person, so I'm not going to be mad that they make a product that is not for me.
Yeah. That was pretty much it. I couldn't really think. I just thought it'd be something worth talking about. But also, I guess I would say, as I wanted to bring up clothes, because I think clothing is another big merchandise thing for stuff. As you guys know, right now I'm wearing my Mario pajama pants, so I have some PlayStation pajama pants as well. I think I have another pair, whatever, a couple of socks and stuff. But I've got like shirts. I like to get video game shirts, but I'm very picky about that. A lot of video game shirts look really tacky. I prefer them to just have like a symbol from the game and not have like the logo. And well, there are some really cool logos for games, but like not have the title text and stuff like that. I prefer a much more subtle fashion. So that's the one thing I wish would be better. And actually, Pokemon was one of the things where they were trying to do like very fashion oriented designs for that. So I give them for props for that. But yeah, I wish for video game merch they would hire some better fashion designers that didn't make some as tacky stuff. I really appreciate getting video game clothes that are much more subtle. Subtle was the word I was looking for. Sorry.
This designer brand, this like fancy brand of clothing called Acronym, made a Death Stranding Bridges jacket. Guess how much it was?
Was it over or under $1,000?
$1,900, and it sold out. And it sold out like immediately. I thought it was really cool, and I was like,
Did you
maybe.
get for it?
No, I think I was too late, and I also get the impression that it might have been a little slimmer fit than I would have been comfortable with, because I think that kind of stuff probably is. But it was cool, and if there was something a little cheaper in that style, I might get it, because I do think the design of the Bridges jacket is cool. But then the problem with that kind of stuff is like, if someone says, "Hey, I like that jacket. What's that?" Like, then you have to explain, "Oh, this is like it's a little too esoteric to wear out in public and like have to explain to someone what it is."
You don't have to explain. You just be like, "Hey, it's from a video game," and they might go, "What video game is that from?" Be like, "Look up Death Stranding," and then you walk away.
Yeah, I guess that's a better way to handle it. But that was I like you can tell how much I like Death Stranding stuff.
None, yeah. No, I've bought some expensive video game apparel. I bought a Mass Effect like cosplay hoodie, which actually has some like hard rubber style like imprinting on it for like to look like the N7 armor, and also does a full face zip up hoodie with like mesh eyes to see through, so you can see that. So that's probably my best social distancing clothes I could wear. It's not super thick, so it's not like it's gonna keep you warm. It's good like fall weather style hoodie, but I usually pull that out as like my cheap Halloween costume because it's that kind of quality. I've received much criticism from my friends for purchasing this, but I still think it looks pretty cool. Is the original Deus Ex Human Revolution, the trench coat that the character wears. They made like a futuristic style trench coat there.
You wear that out in public?
I wore it a couple times, but I was heavily advised to stop doing that. So I've just kind of left it in the closet. I still think it's really cool, and I think they're being unfair, but whatever.
Who said you can't wear a trench coat?
Not since a certain school shooting. You can't wear black, shiny trench coats. Only on the set of The Matrix you're allowed to, apparently. So yeah, I just have it. I like it. I still think it's cool.
I was Neo one year for Halloween when I wore a trench coat. Nobody said anything to me, but I don't know. That was
on Halloween. That's a little different, but yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
If you wear it on Halloween, then you can get away with a lot of stuff. But like I wanted to just wear it because I thought it was stylish, and you could just wear it out in the rain and in the cold. And they're like, nah, buddy, don't. And I was all right, well. I also bought. It's not as good as I would have liked, but it's good enough. Is like a organization style hoodie from Kingdom Hearts, and it's actually like long. It goes down to about my knees. I'm a taller guy, so it's not perfect, but it was sold at Hot Topic. It has like a chain and stuff, and it is like a dual zipper hoodie. I forget if it actually has the dual cut on the thing. I think that's probably the one of my biggest problems is that the top of the hood doesn't dual cut properly and some of the other stuff, but it is meant to be cheaper, but it's cool. I do like it. It's got enough of the trim, proper lines on it that I appreciate it. I haven't worn it too much, but I did make a costume out of that because it's pretty easy to get a bunch of black stuff to mimic that.
I bought a Kojima Productions t-shirt. Yeah,
the logo is pretty neat.
Yeah, it is really cool, and it was a really nice t-shirt. Like some t-shirts are not as comfortable or feel like they're as well made. This is like a really quality t-shirt. So, I mean, like pretty much everything I've bought Death Stranding has been good stuff. So,
yeah, I've got a Legend of Zelda shirt that's really cool. It's like it has the Hylian symbol on it and the Triforce, like the spray paint template. I don't know exactly how to mention that. Oh, 8-bit stuff from like NES era. Those kind of graphics look really good on t-shirts no matter what. So like I have Mega Man. It's the pose of Mega Man jumping with his like arms and stuff up, and I have just that on a blue shirt. Love that. I have like a Sonic. This is like the only thing I have of like Sonic on the shirt. Oh no, I have two. Well, one doesn't fit me, so I just keep very well, so I just keep that as like a bedtime shirt. Oh, also Paper Mario. Same thing with that. Once again, I don't really like the style of that, so I just keep it as like a bedtime shirt. But yeah, there's a distressed Sonic tee that I got a long time ago that I still think looks pretty dope for what it is. What other shirts? Oh, I do have a Kingdom Hearts shirt. I do have two Kingdom Hearts shirts that are nice, that are just like symbols and stuff on there that are black and white, so it's very, I think it very subtle. Well, the symbolism isn't subtle on there in terms of like how much it stands out, but like, you know, it's not the name Kingdom Hearts just emblazoned across my chest. It's not Sora or other characters just screaming from the colors. It's just symbolism from there. And
You
then
have you have a lot of video game clothing.
yeah, a decent amount. That's kind of my favorite type of merch, I think, other than the swords, because like that the weapons and stuff is all display purpose, whereas clothes I can actually like wear out of the house.
I think I have the one shirt that I wear now is the Mario Kart, like, do you even drift, bro?
That's awesome. That's funny.
And
I
then
appreciate that.
when I was younger, we went to New York City, and I was at the Nintendo store, and I got the I Mario New York City
Mhm.
T-shirt with Mario's face.
Mhm.
Was that was the heart. That was the heart.
Yeah, I've also found some other custom shirts on like some of the homemade, or I want to say like Etsy style websites,
But that's about it. for
Handcraft or whatever.
Video
Um,
games.
I don't
What
think I
about
ha-
shoes? Shoes? Do you have video game shoes?
No, most of the video game shoes I've seen look really tacky, so I just
What
don't.
about those Kingdom Hearts shoes?
The boots, some of those are cool. I could never pull those off. I am not the kind of guy who could pull those off, unfortunately.
Hats? Video game hats?
I was just trying to think if I had a video game hat. No, I haven't. I just recently purchased like an anime beanie. There wasn't. I wanted an Overwatch beanie, but they never made one that was just the Overwatch symbol without like the logo text. I wanted just the symbol, or I think. Did I see it? And there was something wrong with it. I saw it, and it just wasn't exactly what I wanted.
I'm trying to think if I had Nintendo hat or a video game hat.
But like baseball
Can't
cap.
You have your Mario hat.
No, I like
Yeah, but I mean,
like plain
besides
baseball
that,
caps.
I mean, like an actual like baseball cap, not Mario
Yeah,
hat.
I couldn't think. Can't think of any normal. They do make them, but most of them I think look tacky, and I just not a fan of them. I like plain baseball caps. Trying to think if there's anything else in terms of merchandise. Went over a lot.
Oh, I have an interesting story.
Oh yeah.
So I used to go to like this claw machine
Mhm.
at Big Lots,
Mhm.
and it was like one of those claw machines that you like almost always won at. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't, it was an actual like real claw machine. Like it wasn't those ones that like barely, pick it. Like they only give you like, they only pick it up like one time out of like 100.
Yeah, it wasn't rigged.
It wasn't rigged. It
Mhm.
was like an actual real machine. And the one time it had like a Mega Man stuffed animal.
Plush?
Well, not,
Flash.
it wasn't really plush, but yeah, that you know what I mean. And I used the claw to get that. I can't remember if it was like first or second try, but it was Mega Man, so I thought it was really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Forgive me in my old age of 33 going on 34, but I forgot. Did we talk about yet about is there a piece of merch you would like to exist?
No, I don't think we talked about that. I'm 30 and my memory's failing too, so
Yeah.
don't feel bad.
This year has aged us all by a decade, so I think everyone gets a free pass on
Yeah,
that.
there is something I want.
What do you want, Mike? You go first.
I want the N64 Classic. system.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's
Well, wait. Here's a question: do you want an N64 Classic, or do you just want Nintendo to just put all its games on backwards compatibility on the Switch?
I want both.
Okay.
Well,
I want-
the Nintendo Switch Online app is merchandise, though. That's just a game, as far as I can. So it doesn't count for this conversation.
Well, I was just saying, like, do you want the thing because of the specific? What kind of sussing out the reason? Is it more that you want the software, or do you want that novelty little piece of that?
It's
Would
both.
you buy 4 N64 Classic controllers?
I feel like it would have to come with at least 2, right?
You think that?
Would they even have 4 ports on it?
I think they have to.
It's not an N64 Classic if it doesn't.
They have to have longer cords.
It'd probably be the ports would probably be fake, and you could like pull it down, and then there'd just be 4 USB ports underneath.
Yeah, that's what the SNES and the Well, they're not USB. They're actually
Proprietary.
Right. The old
proprietary
school
ports from the classic controllers.
Yeah.
So you could use a classic controller with it, but I have mine
Those
right set up
cowards.
here.
Actually, they're not
computer.
cowards.
My SNES Classic, my NES Classic,
Okay.
and the PlayStation Classic, which I don't have set up right now, but the other two I do.
Okay. Ed, is there a piece of video game merch you would like?
Yeah. So Lego
It doesn't exist.
Lego
you
has
know of.
Lego has an ideas line of sets where people will submit a model that they design, and people will vote on it. And if it gets at least 10,000 votes, it will be considered to be made a real model. And one that I've seen, they had a Metroid Samus's gunship with Samus and Ridley. All, you know, it was a really cool model. I think it got 10,000 votes. And it was actually going around on the news website, so it got picked up as a news story where people. So I'm pretty sure that's how it got 10,000 votes, because it got enough publicity based being on major blogs where people knew about it. But I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it got made. I think the round of ideas where it got considered has passed and it wasn't picked. And I'm not surprised.
I was gonna say, how many does it need in order to get picked?
Well, it needs 10,000 votes to be considered. Lego makes the ultimate decision. So every model that gets 10,000 votes, you know, in between I think they do it 4 times a year. So 4 times a year, they pick all the new sets that have reached 10,000 votes, consider them, and tell you which ones that will be made into a real model. The problem is a lot of them are licensed, and you know they need to be able to get the license to do it. So even if they wanted to make a Metroid one, Nintendo would have to okay it, and I don't think they're willing to do that. So you know, some of the sets that get 10,000 votes are kind of like, that's never going to happen because the license is not going to happen. But
besides that,
that's really what I would like to see, is a Lego set of Samus's gunship and Samus and Ridley. Like I thought it was a really cool model.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Though honestly, there might be. I haven't looked. There are websites that will sell you instructions. People will sell instructions for sets. One of them I think is called Rebrickable, and you can buy the instructions. And I believe they come with a parts list that you can upload in this other website called Bricklink, and you can just order all the individual parts. So maybe I should see if there's a model where I can just order the parts and build it myself.
Do it yourself.
I bet there is. I haven't looked hard enough.
I don't like. Besides the NES Lego, I don't like the Mario Legos.
Yeah, but the Mario Legos they're more like those are more kids. They're like a play set where you can build levels and they have like electronics in them. Like they're not made for adults. Like the NES it says on the box 18 plus. Not to say that only adults can use it, but it's aimed strictly towards adults or squarely towards adults. But I mean, it's cool. I do like it. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Anything Lego. If there's a Lego set for a game that I like, I'll buy it. They have Overwatch Lego. I don't know if you knew that. They have They have Overwatch Lego. One of the idea sets that got approved in the last round to become a real set was the Sonic Green Hill Zone. I don't know if you remember that.
Is it gonna be aimed towards kids, or is it actual like collectors type set?
It's probably aimed towards adults because like how many kids these days actually like Sonic? I was just saying that one of the idea sets that got approved in the last round was a Sonic set. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So, but Mike was asking, is it going to be aimed towards adults? And it's not going to be for kids. Kids don't like Sonic these days. It's only old people.
That's not true. Kids do like Sonic.
Really? I feel like it's only like old guys who like Sonic.
With the new movies.
No, there was the Sonic Boom animated series. The cartoons obviously like re-jumped it. Like Sonic's still popular. It's just his games have not been as well received. So it's one of those things where it's like Sonic as an icon, like Mickey Mouse, like Sonic as an icon is just popular, but
just not as popular as Piranha Plant.
But the games have been of dubious quality. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, Mike's been showing off his Piranha amiibo every once in a while, and I don't mind that there's a Piranha Plant amiibo. Just he didn't need to be. He shouldn't have been in Smash Bros. He should have. No, he should have been an assist trophy, not a.
But then how would I get my Piranha Plant amiibo if he was just
never?
An assist trophy?
Anyways, no, he still could. Nintendo's made like weird amiibos of non-playable characters.
Cat Mario amiibo.
Exact, or like the Monster Hunters, the monster amiibos. Oh, I was gonna say, so for me, the piece of merch I want to exist, and technically it does exist, but not what I want, and I wasn't able to get it. I have always wanted a like toy version, a decent sized toy, like think like one of those good sized Star Wars X-wings. You know what I'm saying, Mike?
Yeah.
That with some articulation points on them that they're probably around like 10 to 12 inches or something like that.
Sure.
Of a Star Fox R-Wing.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
So I was looking it up just to see if it ever truly existed. I know they made the model for that Ubisoft game
I have
that came
that
out recently. I almost bought that just for that toy, but I refused.
But it's like attached to like a controller.
Is it completely attached to that base? Yeah, so that's always disappointing. I think there was also like a small version of one somewhere that was like, like somewhere between like 3 and 5 inches.
I'm sure you could take it off if you wanted to.
If I broke it off, but I don't want to just risk destroying the toy. The other part is, and then First 4 Figures did make like a nice big size model, but when they were selling it, it was like $280. I wasn't really able to pull the trigger on that, so now if I want those, and those are always limited run. It's also attached to a base, so it's not quite what I want. But yeah, I would love to see like a more toy level thing, because I would totally pay anywhere between like around $100 or like somewhere between like 70 and 100 for like plastic, a few points of articulation. I don't need sound effects or even stuff that shoots. I just need it to like look like some of the higher detail ones from like, I'll even say like Star Fox Zero, so that's secondly like the most recent 3D model one, or even one of the more detailed ones from like Star Fox Assault or Star Fox Adventure.
That would be cool if they have like a metal one, like a small like metal.
Yeah, some die-cast parts and stuff. I'd be cool with that. But yes, that's the one piece of merch from video games I've always wanted to exist, and they've never quite found a sweet spot. The First 4 Figures is probably the closest to it, and it just, now I'm not going to be able to get it within a reasonable price, and I'm not going to pay like $1,000 for that. It's just, it doesn't mean that much to me. But I love Star Fox 64, even though the low poly models are kind of neat. Like even if it was like a low poly set, like I don't want that. I think that's neat, but I probably wouldn't get that. Also special shout outs to the low poly models, figures that they were selling for Final Fantasy VII of the different characters. Oh my god. That was the thing when I saw that. I'm like, that's so cool. I love when they do figures of like the low poly PlayStation 1 and 64 style. It's so neat. But yeah, I want the R-Wing. I want the R-Wing from Star Fox as like a model figure. That's it. That's me.
I want one that you could actually fly.
Of course. Of course you do. Yeah, well someday when we can fly in and out of space. But yeah. Oh man, guys, yeah, video game merch is fun.
Yeah, this was a huge topic to unpack. I mean, it's pretty much like if something exists, there's merch of it, and for some property.
Yeah, and there'll certainly be more stuff, and we'll probably bring up some other stuff in the future when we get cool stuff. But yeah, we're gonna do like accessories. I wanted to consider that separately. We talked a little bit about like the idea of like the the Nintendo 64 Classic controllers and things like that. But we're going to touch more on that in a separate topic on a different episode. So before we go, any other closing thoughts, guys?
I really wish there were Metroid Lego, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think like it might be more likely that we get Metroid Lego than we get Metroid 5. I think we'll see the Lego before I see a Metroid 5.
Yeah, I don't know how likely like an N64 Classic would even be, because those were like, both of those were like gap systems because the Wii U was a failure. So they were just like, we have to sell something, right?
Well, maybe their next system will be a failure, and we'll see more of those. They'll be
Or
like
like
they'll be the Wii U classic.
Oh man.
What will the controller be? What, you get like a mini gamepad or something? Or like
That's what they'll do. It's like in like 10 years they'll have the Wii U Classic and it'll just be the Switch and the gamepad, and then the box will be just a plastic piece. It just sits there and hooks up to the TV. It's just a dongle essentially. Oh man, that'd be funny. But all right, so that was fun. This is another great episode. We thank you everyone who listened and joined us for this episode. We hope you've got some great gaming merch, and we'd love to hear in the comments and whatnot what your favorite stuff is, and stuff you'd like to see. And if anyone's got any merch they hate, obviously there's we hate when merch breaks or it's low quality, but you know that's a whole other thing than a type of item we just wish never existed. But yeah, thanks again everyone. Take care and have a great day till the next time.
yeah, thank you for
Bye.
listening.
Bye.